Hey guys, the Kennel here, and I have another wonderful episode for you guys. And today we're going to be talking about some minor news, but we're going to be talking about it more in depthly, I suppose. Even though I don't really like talking about news on the site because news is one of those things that comes and goes. But it was a little weird and something that I'm still trying to process a little bit. But this is just how my brain processes things. So yesterday, Rod announced on Inside Xbox that esports for Gears 5 is going to be bigger, badder, and we're going to be on the new E-League circuit, which is interesting because that means we're going to be getting Gears of War on TV, which I'll totally watch Gears of War on TV for esports, because I remember back in the day when they were first starting to do Halo 3, and they would have it on G4 and a lot of other places, but now it's become this huge, bigger thing. But the huge thing that he announced yesterday was that we're going to be seeing our first Gears of War 5 versus multiplayer in a Gears of War 5 tournament on either July 13th or 14th. Mainly it's going to be on July 14th. But that is huge. Just because we get to see new multiplayer for Gears 5, we actually get to see some pieces of information. We're going to probably be seeing stuff at E3, but there were some things that I was kind of scratching my head about, but mostly that's because of me, and that's just, here's all my opinions, so this is going to be an opinion-based video. Rather than shooting out facts and stuff, it's going to be So we're going to be seeing our first real Gears of War 5 gameplay at pretty much an esports event, and that can be a good or bad thing. And what I mean by that is that Gears of War competitive versus, casual play is completely different. It's almost like apples and oranges, and people are like, no, it's not. And then I'm going to be like, yeah, it actually is, because if you see people playing the game very competitively, Gears of War changes dynamics based on the skill curve you have. So if you have someone that's a hyper-competitive team that is basically like a well-oiled machine, you're going to see different dynamics of Gears of War performed in a much different way. You're going to see things that are not normally exploited, or things that are going to be, you might think in-core play is insignificant, but to a competitive person it's huge, such as, Nashers, snubs, Lancers, anything that they can get the advantage on that isn't just the Nasher, they will take. Same as with core, there's more inconsistencies because people play in this very varied skill curves, whereas people that are more competitive tend to play a lot more, and they know the dynamics of the game a lot more, so they can do things that not normally you could pull off things that are insane, both to show people, but also because you're a well-oiled machine who plays Gears 12 hours a day, either through pubs, scrims, and everything in between. Now, this isn't to say it's a bad thing, but my concern comes from showing Gears of War 5 first in a competitive setting, because we might not be able to see the huge dynamic of Gears 5 from a casual perspective. And what I mean by that is that, Gears of War works on two playing fields, like I said, but will they be able to show off the new mechanics properly? Because in esports, there's this thing where, they're not going to do things like mantle kick. They're not going to do things like trying to knife people over cover. Whatever new dynamics they're going to use that isn't really catered towards esports, those are more gimmicky, rather than in esports, they're going to do things like try to get advantage through either height or being able to really flank an enemy rather than getting up close and personal all that much. Though that's not to say that we won't be seeing any of that stuff, because possibly what they're going to be showing us is a gameplay reveal trailer. And there's nothing bad with that. I'm actually more interested in the people they get to stack those teams for the tournament, because I want to see the nitty-gritty dynamics of Gears 5 rather than seeing it being competitive. For me, who isn't really a sports person, I can actually enjoy watching Gears of War multiplayer, and I can really enjoy just watching it. Maybe because, I play the game, so I understand it. I'm sure it's the same thing as a person that played football, loves watching football. It's all for the game and all those, high points, low points, and very close calls. But it's a little differently when it comes to, playing a game and watching a game and observing it, because they might not get, the mechanics across unless they show something that is versus gameplay, a trailer. I'm not even talking about us being hungry for news, because, the hype train's going on, and we'll get stuff at E3. Most likely it's just going to be campaign. It's always mostly been like that. I've seen some people kind of get mad, why didn't they reveal stuff earlier? Well, they're still fine-tuning and making the game presentable to show to the world. And, no news of a beta, maybe we might get it there, maybe not, who knows? because, you know, at least they have it in a playable state where people can play it at least at a LAN event. Good or bad, if you hate it or not, well, we'll see, because Gears of War 5 is going to be coming up soon. I'm really interested to see this time for Gears 5 how they're going to integrate, you know, esports into core multiplayer, because, you know, again, they're kind of separate, but they're at least in a way where, you know, you can play them and still have like people that want to have a casual experience can play that way, and you have esports. But, you know, the concerning Gears 4 was the separate weapon tuning, which, you know, love it or hate it, I don't care for it all that much. I always felt like if you should have one rule set, you should always have it as one thing, and then people that can master that can do competitive, while, you know, people that are more casual don't have to worry about it. Because, you know, esports and Gears have always been a thing. It's not like it has never not been a thing. It's been a thing since 2006. There's a lot of players that went from esports to actually helping create the game, from Gears 3 to Gears 4 to now Gears 5. Gears is, I remember like seeing Hype Fest Station. I remember all the GDFC tournaments. I remember seeing all the small little tournaments basically in a hotel room, to pretty much now we're on the main stage, which is incredible. Like, I didn't get a chance to go to San Diego. I had some personal family things happen, but I still watched it, and I still had hype. I remember going to, like, MLG events. I remember seeing things for Gears and getting super hyped about it. But I guess my main concern has been maybe for the casual community, even though I think, you know, competitive is a huge thing and makes a lot of money, and a lot of people watch it, but I don't know what the percentage is, you know, competitive people versus the casual people, because I know, like me, I'm not even like technically a percent of the community. I'm not even like I'm pretty much just like a very, very, very like a million point decimal, in like talking about stuff, but like as a community as a whole, I'd rather have to see things from a core mechanic, because, you know, people that are going to be benefiting this game, yes, are esports people, but also the people that are going to be benefiting are the people now with, you know, Game Pass, with getting Gears 5 pretty much at launch for just $10, or buying it, and also, you know, the hardcore fans, the casual fans. Those are the people that I felt like the Coalition could sometimes cater better towards, but, you know, I can understand, you know, esports is this thing that makes a lot of money. People like their black steel skins, which, you know, all that stuff goes to esports. So, you know, by donating, you're contributing to esports. And I get that, and understand, you know, Gears is a competitive game. But I just, I guess I'm more passionate about Gears. I feel like they should just have a beta. I'm sure you know, I'm not a person that I don't make any money on marketing, or, you know, how much it probably costs to run a beta, because you still have to get the servers, you have to have the promotional material, and then you have to have all the man hours monitoring, you know, playing, and really like getting into the nitty gritty of all the data, and then afterwards the man hours and the money that cost to sift through all the data from the beta, and then kind of adjust things as it goes along, because that, you know, adds to the development time. I get that, and I totally get that. But when it comes to like the event, I feel like there should be a nice combination of people that are either reporting the game, that play casually, or just, I really just wish it was at like E3 or at like an event kind of like EA Play, like they have like an Xbox Play, where people can come and really play the game and give honest feedback, if you're going to do it that way. Because, you know, there's going to be the competitive people that want their competitive stuff, and then there's going to be the casual people that want their casual stuff. And maybe it's like almost like a hostage negotiation from two separate people like committing hostages. And you have the one person that's just raw, like, okay, so you guys want $1 million in untraceable bills, but you guys want $3 million in untraceable bills. Oh dear, this is, okay, so you guys both want to go to Vegas, right? But you both want to be on separate planes. Oh man, this is going to be super hard and super difficult. But I actually still have faith in the Coalition about this stuff, because maybe it might just be, maybe because the news is still fresh and you take some time to process it. But is it a good idea? Is it a bad idea? Personally, I think if they want to really show off what, you know, Gears 5 is going to be nitty gritty, I'm actually excited to see how the esports people are going to really be playing Gears of War 5. Personally, I like to see, you know, a combination of both, you know, casual people and professional people playing it, to see the different balances of the game, because there's totally different mechanics when it comes to playing Gears of War. And Gears of War 5 is, you know, this is technically their run, because, you know, they've crawled was Gears UE, they walked with Gears 4, and this is now their, you know, their run. So let's see how multiplayer works. They've had so many years to develop this game, and we still haven't even seen anything. It's like the Wizard and the Wizard of Oz, like pay no attention behind the man behind the curtain. And we'll see. And it's going to be super fun, and I'm super excited. And I'm totally going to be tuning in on July 14th to see that tournament, and also to see Gears of War 5 multiplayer. And that's going to be on TBS with good old-fashioned E-League. And I'm super excited to watch Gears of War on TV. The sad thing is that I've cut the cord, so I have to figure out a way to watch it other than getting the TBS app and watching it that way, though I'm sure it'll be on other platforms. So thank you guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. What do you guys think? Do you think it's a good idea that, esports is going to be playing the game first, or do you think there should have been a public beta? Or will there be a public beta afterwards? We don't know all this stuff. I don't have all the answers. This is just me talking in a microphone, talking about my passion, which is Gears. And I love talking to you guys, and let's see how this goes, because, personally, I've always been an optimist when it comes to all this stuff. Like, it's going to be great and going to be awesome, but we have professional people playing it. But how does that mean, like, the kid down the street that's playing Gears for the first time, what do they get out of watching, a high-oil performance of esports? Well, I'm Zack, and let's keep those gears turning. Bye!